everyone, it's Gabby
and Danny
and Manny,
and you're listening to Oye, Let's Talk. Happy holidays, everyone. It's the most cheeriest time of the year, and it's for more reasons than just one. In case you didn't know, we are intentionally saying happy holidays this episode because it is the end of 2020, which is a happy time for us all, but also because the end of the year, or December, isn't just about Christmas.
Yeah, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa.
I think Gabby brings up a great point. I want to shed some light onto holidays that are not as, how would I say, mainstream. I feel like growing up here in the United States, you feel like Christmas dominates. Just anywhere you go, it's always kind of like Christmas and the whole Santa thing. I feel like we can kind of oversee other cultures or traditions that are not mentioned. And I wanted to bring up two, Hanukkah and Kwanzaa, and you guys can chime in. I just kind of want to mention how similar they are and the fact that they both use candles to kind of, celebrate the days of this period. Hanukkah obviously has a very, religious history to it. And some of the traditions that they have are like lighting the candles, getting those. Have you guys ever seen the little chocolate coin chips?
Yeah, the
Yes.
Yes. Oh, they're called gelts? I didn't know that's what they were called.
Well, yeah, part of my family is Jewish, so that's how I knew. And also, I just filmed a piece for my, we were having a Christmas special for my station, and mine was on different cultural, traditional foods in different religions and stuff. So I got to learn a little bit of history when it came to Hanukkah because I got to interview the owner of a Jewish deli.
Segue into that they mostly eat potato pancakes and jelly donuts during the holidays.
Latkes, yes.
Yes, latkes. Were they good? Did you try them?
Yes, they're delicious. They're essentially kind of, Jewish people don't hate me, but it's kind of like hash browns.
Oh my gosh, I love hash browns.
Yeah, it's just so good. And I learned that most of their food is dipped in and fried in oil because of the meaning behind the historical context with the fact that the reason why they celebrate it for 8 days is because, and they light the menorah, one candle each day, to signify the 1 day supply of oil that lasted for 8 days way back when. I don't know the specific years. I think it was
so the biblical times.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. And I just wanted to point out, like Manny said, I'm going to shed some light on other holidays. And I'm like, shed some light on the holidays that involve light.
Yes, and that's why the Hanukkah is sometimes called Festival of Lights. And just like that, Kwanzaa also uses kind of candles to, they also light candles as one of their traditions. A key custom is to do a daily lighting of the Kinara, which is black, red, and green. And interesting, each color kind of stands for a different thing. On day one, you light the black candle, which is also known as a unity candle, which symbolizes the people themselves. On the second day, the red candle for the struggle or bloodshed in the past. And on day three, the green candle, which represents the earth or the abundance of possibilities. And these colors are also the colors of the Pan-African flag. And, I think that's what Kwanzaa celebrates, the African diaspora. And it's interesting how they use those colors to really signify something in your tradition, Just,
That's so
have
beautiful.
You ever thought about why red and green in Christmas are significant? Because I don't know.
That's actually a good point. I don't know why red and green are associated with Christmas.
Right.
But just to give you all the difference, so Hanukkah is like the 8 days, and the symbolism is how long the oil lasted during the biblical times, very tied to religion, whereas Kwanzaa isn't or doesn't have a religious foundation, but the 7 candles represent the principles. And it stemmed more out of a culture as opposed to a religion, like I mentioned earlier. So that is the perfect segue to, I guess, the more mainstream holiday, which is Christmas. Everyone kind of throws it in your face even before Thanksgiving is over at this point. There's a lot of commercialization to it, but there's a lot of sweet love and, of course, celebrations that come along with it.
Can I just take a controversial hot take, really rapid fire? When do you start celebrating Christmas, Gabby?
December.
December 1st.
Not even the 1st, but it has to at least be December. Yeah, like I refuse to put anything up for Christmas in November. I feel like that's so rude to Thanksgiving.
I feel like if Thanksgiving already passed, the food is done and like no longer in your fridge, you can start setting up.
Okay, no controversial hot takes on that. Okay, good. We agree.
Wait, Manny, when do you start?
I would say, yeah, Christmas.
Like you celebrate Christmas? The
24th?
Listen,
so no
my house has
setup,
been
it's just
lazy.
magically
It's
there?
been lazy. My mom likes putting out a nativity scene just all year long.
Okay, so here's the thing. I understand the people that have very large family gatherings, for example, during Thanksgiving, and maybe that's the only time they get together because they live far away. Like I understand in American culture, for whatever reason, you could argue that Thanksgiving is like a bigger deal for whatever reason than like the Christmas holidays. So like I would understand if they want to set up early for that so that everything looks nice and pretty and decorated with lights. But if it's just family of 4, you live there already, and it's just a quiet little gathering, I don't think there's a reason why you should already start shopping. It's too soon.
I see your point. So actually getting back on the Christmas topic, this hot take wasn't that hot because clearly we're all like, let Thanksgiving have its time. I'm sure we're grateful for a lot, and I'm sure Thanksgiving really pumps us up into the ridiculous festivities that come with Christmas, like the tree lightings, the like traditional ornaments that go up in all the small towns, the Christmas parades. There's just so much that goes with Christmas, like locally, and then there's personally, familially. So when do you put up your tree? How, do you put outdoor lights? Like how far do you go? When do you take it down? Nativity scene or no nativity scene? Like I just want all y'all's opinions on how do you set up for Christmas? Like what is your, I guess, tradition?
For me, I guess it's very like basic / typical. Like my tree, for the longest time, I always had like the same fake tree until I was probably like in middle school. My mom was like, no, you know what? We're going to start buying real trees because I love the smell of it. I am obsessed with the smell of it. So yeah, ever since then, we've just bought like a new tree that we pick out, probably like at Walmart or something simple. Like we don't go out in the forest and chop it ourselves. I know a lot of people do that, and I think that's super cool. I feel like once I get married, I want to do that. Like I want to go on a scavenger hunt and pick out my tree.
You're not chopping trees in Florida.
I won't. I'm not chopping anything.
But you're gonna have to like live somewhere that does that.
That's true. I know in Chicago they do that like in the outskirts, and I'm sure here
makes sense
too. But yeah, so just my tree. My mom goes all out with decorations outside. She like puts lights obviously like outside the house and on the palm trees, on the little bushes. We have like an inflatable Santa Claus. She goes all out.
Okay, wait, I need to bring this up because I was decorating my house and I have a lot of stuff. When I lived by myself in Missouri, I was very sad during the holidays because I had to stay and work. And my mom and my grandma actually came up for Christmas, which was cute because I saw snow for the first time a few years ago. But I needed to decorate everything. So I bought a fake tree. Like I was like, I can't not have decorations because my mom and my grandma are not coming all the way to Missouri from Miami just to sit in my empty, like dingy apartment. And I bought a little penguin, inflatable penguin. I've had it. His name was Pepito. I've had that penguin since 2017. And I was rummaging through my garage like this. I'm like, where's Pepito? And I found his box, but I can't find him. So my Christmas is incomplete this year. And I can't find an inflatable penguin to purchase.
Not even on Amazon?
I just haven't done the Amazon thing because I was at least trying to buy locally. Because I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, spend another $20, $30. Like I bought him for $15 at Walmart and I've had him for years. So it's just very frustrating for me. But anyway, my tree is up. It looks like Christmas threw up in our house. I'm very grateful. I'm a name drop right here for my roommate Shay. She came in one day, put up lights. She's like, I put in like Christmas things, and I'm like, oh, we're at the stage. Y'all are ready to decorate.
It's exciting. It's like an exciting time. I feel like if you've been in that like, I don't know, very like mood. It gets very like monotone. And so like the Christmas holidays is like a time where you're like, okay, something to look forward to.
We used to own a house, so like putting up the Christmas lights was always like a tradition. You know, like Christmas was coming with like, hey, let's put up the lights. And I don't know, like I would always help my dad and my brother put up the lights. That was kind of like always a tradition. We always had fake trees. Growing up, I never had a real tree. I don't know if that was like a Hispanic thing or a Cuban thing, but like I didn't even know real trees existed, to be honest with you, until later in life. I promise you guys. And yeah, it was kind of fun, but to be honest with you, this year I really haven't decorated because I'm in a new place and we just got new furniture, so yeah.
I bought a small tree. I mean, I'm gonna be by myself for the holidays as well, and like I still want it to be festive. Like I don't care. Like it's still like a special time for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Back childhood memories. So like I bought like a little like toy tree, and I decorated with like, I actually stole from my mother's like garage where she stores all the fun stuff, like the little ornaments. I brought like 3 or 4 of my favorite ones that remind me of like my childhood that we've had since like the 90s, and it's in my little Christmas tree.
Oh, I'm glad that at least you have that piece with you now. And I guess that's a great segue into like what the holidays mean to us. So let's go ahead and discuss now, what does it like, we're older, so obviously the holidays look a little different, but like what are your favorite memories? What are some of the traditions? Like when do you all actually celebrate? Because for me, like, and I explained it to my work before, I'm like, if you need me to work Christmas, that's cool, but I need the 24th off for Noche Buena because that's when we really celebrate.
Do you open presents on Noche Buena? Like, do you wait until midnight? Because I know some families also have like their big dinner and they wait very late at night. I've never done that. Like, I was the type of child that, no, Santa Claus va a venir. You have to go to bed at like 7:38, and until he knows that you're sound asleep, then he'll come and put the presents. And even if you wake up in the middle of the night, you see them, you don't touch them. You go back to bed. You wait until the following day where everyone's there, gathered. My mom always filmed us like opening the presents and stuff like that. But we never did really Noche Buena stuff.
So in my family, sorry, Manny, we actually were able to open up one gift on Noche Buena, but it was usually like the gift of someone who we weren't going to see Christmas morning or Christmas Day. So for instance, I remember my godmother being like, open my gift, like let it be the one. And since she only had sons, like she treated me like a daughter. So it was really cute because I'm like, oh, I'm going to open up Madrina's gift for Noche Buena. And like, that was my little tradition.
That's so cute.
Yeah. But my parents would always be like, you can't open up that one. And that was like our big gift of the season.
So I'll mention a rather unique Christmas tradition. It's my birthday. For the past...
I was waiting for that.
Is it really?
Yes. And we didn't talk about this before, but I'm like, wait, it's my birthday.
No. Wait, do you get double the presents or no?
Well, yeah. Everywhere you go, you always get asked, oh, you get double presents? Like, no, I don't get double presents. My parents technically... they do give me 2 presents, you know, they give me like 2 big gifts, but everyone else in my family just usually does one combo gift. Especially after 2008, after the declining economy. I note 1 gift per family. It was like, oh, okay. And it's like the older you grow, the less gifts you get, period, when you're in Christmas. So it's like the person doesn't give you anything for your birthday either. So it's like, thanks.
That's true. Like as you get older, you get less presents. But also, like I was thinking this year, my mom kept asking me and my boyfriend too, like, what do you want? Like you're super hard to shop for. And I'm like, I'm sorry. When I think about it, like I really honestly don't need anything. Like, do I want stuff here and there? Yeah, sure. We all want different stuff. And like I love being gifted with presents, especially if it's like sentimental or like it has like a meaning behind it. But like to give gifts, like, oh, I hate those people. I'm gonna go off on a rant for a second. So I hate those people. I hate those like your mother's colleagues, friend, tia postiza, whatever, that never sees you. They wait until the end of the year and they give you re-gifted gifts. I don't want a perfume that does not smell like me. Thank you. I also do not want tiny lip glosses. Bought from
From
Ulta.
Walgreens.
Oh my god.
Walgreens that were in the sale rack that smell disgusting and taste disgusting. I know, just don't give me anything. I really, truly, like, I appreciate you. And I'm sure somewhere in there you really thought of me, kind of. But, like, I don't need it, you know? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. If anybody else identifies, please write in.
No, that's my, okay.
Comment below.
High key, here's my hot take. It's not the thought that counts. Like, as Manny mentioned, since 2008, the declining economy, like, I appreciate.
The thought doesn't count? Did you just say that?
No, don't get a gift just because you thought about getting someone a gift. That's like how I personally feel. And
Yeah.
I've had a few people in my life that are like, they got you something totally random. Like, it didn't seem personal. It seemed like they got it for you because they felt obligated to get you a gift. And at the end of the day, they're like, well, it's because it's a thought that counts. And I'm like, I would have preferred like a personal Christmas card and you explaining why you perhaps couldn't spend money on me.
Okay.
Exactly.
That, like, that's what
I love
Yeah,
letters.
okay.
Letters,
That,
cards.
that's what I mean. Like, if it's the thought that counts and put thought into it, not just I bought you something because I felt obligated to get you a gift. And that's where all of these holidays, like even for birthdays and stuff, like if you text me a happy birthday, you thought of me. And that means a lot. If you text me Merry Christmas, I was on your list of people that you felt like you wanted to wish a happy holidays to.
Or maybe not. Maybe you were another copy paste. You know.
Honestly,
Ooh,
like,
dropping the truth.
It's true. How many
bomb.
of us get that like long list of send this to 10 people or else? No.
okay, no, not that, but like if someone even said like Merry Christmas, comma Gabby, exclamation point, and y'all know how I feel about exclamation points. I appreciate that. Like, I would prefer that. And I think a coworker actually said this, and he's an older gentleman, but he expressed that I don't want people to get in debt over the holidays because people spend so much money. He's like, don't get me anything. Like, if it's going to put you in a bad place financially, just please keep me in your thoughts, keep me in mind. Like, when one day I need a favor, like, be there for me. And that's like the best Christmas gift to get. And that's where I come from. It's not just the thought that counts, because don't spend the $10-$20 at Bed Bath and Body Works on stuff that like I'm probably not going to use because you didn't know what to get me. Just be honest about it. Like, gift cards are cute, but it's not a lot of intent behind it.
Well, I'm going to be devil's advocate or just go against what you guys just said, because hashtag ungrateful. What? If someone went out of their, even if it was that regifted gift, you know, I feel like at the end of the day, it might be superficial, but you still got a gift. Like, now you have a body spray from Bath and Body Works.
But not if you're never gonna use it.
Danny, now you have lip gloss from Walgreens that you can re-gift to your little cousins. Like,
but that's horrible.
The cycle goes on.
Yeah, it's spiral.
But like Manny
Guys.
raises a good point. Like, we should sound more grateful.
Okay, here's the
First
thing.
world problems. I didn't like this gift.
Here's
this
the thing.
person
I
gave
really
me.
think that it depends on who it comes from. Like, if the person is someone meaningful in my life, even if I don't see them as often, but like I respect them and they really care for me, that's fine. But if it's out of obligation, like Gabby's saying, like someone I never interact with, they have no idea when my birthday is, they don't know what I'm up to, they don't even know how old I am, and they think I'm still in high school, no, it's fine. I won't feel bad. I probably already thought that you weren't going to get me anything anyway because you're that irrelevant. I'm sorry. I just had to say
I'll
that.
take the gifts. I'll take them. Whatever family members listening who is going to give Danny something.
I'd rather
or
you
friend.
donate to charity. That's my thing. Like, I'd rather you donate that money to someone who really needs it instead of just buying to buy. That's the way I think of things.
So that's the
Really?
second
Really?
hot take of the conversation. We're going to go ahead and move on. So Noche Buena, food and music? Like, is that a thing for you all? How does your... Oh my gosh, actually, did you guys see that tweet that's like, El Burrito Sabanero, he's not going to Belen because of COVID?
Oh, no, I haven't seen that.
It's so sad.
It's a funny tweet, for very applicable to 2020. But like, on that point, do you all think that Noche Buena is gonna kind of be the same?
It's going to be the same.
Do you think?
Hispanics, let's be honest. Like, where did you guys go for Thanksgiving? I will also say that is it a Miami thing for Mi Burrito Sabanero to just play on the radio? I think that there's
Maybe. I don't know.
Gabby, is that in Orlando?
So I haven't
Listen,
because
you don't
obviously
listen to
the
radio,
radio,
right?
I don't listen to it that much, but I have heard it here and or in a store or something. To be fair, it was like a Hispanic supermarket. But I do think some people do get the reference. But I'm not gonna lie, like December hit and I called my mom and she's like, yeah, I'm in Walmart and you heard it playing in the background. I'm like, it's December 2nd. Like
So for you guys who are listening and might not know what Noche Buena is, it's I would say a Hispanic holiday, a Hispanic American
Christmas
holiday.
Eve, yeah.
Christmas Eve, which is when we really celebrate, because I don't know why, we're just like going into the night of Christmas. We like to party the day before.
I think religiously, I'm sure there's some historical context. I'm not very familiar with like Bible stuff or anything like that because I didn't grow up with it. But I'm sure it's like El Nacimiento de Jesucristo and all that stuff.
Because here's the thing, like Hispanics outside of the United States and Latin American countries, they celebrate Dia de los Reyes Magos, which is Three Kings Days, which is celebrated January 6th.
Mm-hmm. I also celebrate that.
Here, I feel like Hispanics and Latinos here in the States, they celebrate both. Or, I don't think people I think other countries also celebrate Noche Buena. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
So it's just not an like a Hispanic Latinx thing here in the United States?
Yeah, I would say that it probably is more of like a Hispanic American thing, but I don't doubt that other countries also do Noche Buena. I'm just envisioning because Noche Buena is closer to Christmas and that's kind of the time that we have off. I honestly, this is going to sound sad, but I'm looking at it from the capitalism perspective. People don't get January 6th off. They get maybe the 24th and the 25th off. So they're taking advantage of the work
January
schedule.
6th off, right?
It's not an automatic holiday, so you'd have to ask for it off if you wanted to do anything special. It's in the middle of the week most cases.
True. Actually, in my station, for example, we don't get 24th automatically off. We have the 25th, but the 24th, you're still expected to go into work unless you call it off for a vacation day or something.
Same. And okay, can we talk about that? That's my hot take. I think Jewish holidays, if you're Jewish, you should get your Jewish holidays off, paid holidays, not take a vacation or something. If you celebrate Christmas, you should get Christmas off, etc.
Jewish holidays are religious holidays.
Yeah,
Christmas is not a religious. It's a capitalist holiday. Christmas, come buy your loved one gifts.
My point is
I think it's become commercialized, but I think it's always been a holiday when it comes to the religious aspect.
That's right. Jesus, the coming of Christ.
Yeah. But everyone we get Christmas off because it's a commonly religious holiday. But I actually was having this discussion earlier, and some companies don't automatically give Jewish holidays off. And I don't think everyone has to get it off, but I think if you're Jewish and you need to celebrate, especially Hanukkah, you should be able to get some of those days off without having to take vacation the entire time. That's just
Yeah, on that note, I think it's not just Jewish holidays, right? It's so many other religions have so many other different holidays. The Sikhs, for example, I know they have Vaisakhi. I know Hindus have the Holi festival and that whole celebration. There's so many different traditions and holidays for each religious entity that to just focus on Christianity or Judaism is crazy in this day and age for me. I don't know.
That can be the next thing we send up to Congress. All of our priorities.
Also, do you guys celebrate Santa Claus or Papa Noel? Because I know different religions and or more than religions, I think it's it depends on the country that you're from, that they call it differently.
Ninguno.
Oh.
Santa Claus.
Did you guys believe in that? The magic of someone comes into your house, leaves presents and leaves? Because that was very much embedded into me. And actually, this is embarrassing, but I'm going to say it anyway. I truly believed in that magic until, I kid you not, and this is very embarrassing. Good job, parents. Until I was 12, 13 years old. And I'm sure people try to tell me on the side, but my mom
what grade
rather...
is it?
That's like already middle school, pretty much, or like the beginning of middle school.
Yeah,
And
the
so
end
like
of middle school.
my mom would tell me like, oye, como que si tú quieres creer en lo que quieras creer, not everyone's gonna, you know, think or believe in the same things you do. That's fine. You don't believe in it, you don't get presents. But if you do, like whatever. Like it was a kind of like manipulation for sure. My dad doesn't believe in any of that stuff. And I'm sure he was like dying to tell me when I was 5 years old, like this shit doesn't exist. But like I loved it. Like I loved feeling like, oh, there's magic around this time. And like I think I would want my kids to feel that. Like
You don't believe in superstitions. And you believed in the magic of Santa Claus.
I was little. The movies also
Until
like,
you were 13.
Listen, I had a very happy childhood, okay?
Oh, actually,
sure.
guys, I actually remember when I found out that Santa was real. And it was because I had gotten this Game Boy, the Game Boy Advance for a Christmas.
I
And
remember
I went
those.
to like a sporting goods store and I accidentally left it. And when we got to the car, my dad was busting a cap. He was pissed. And he was like, do you know how much that cost? I was, no, Santa got it for me. And it was at that moment that Manny realized that Santa was not real, as he had suspected all along. I feel like you reach an age where you're skeptical.
Yeah.
And then there's like a confirmation to like, oh, this is not real. I knew it all along. I've already been suspecting it.
So
yeah.
my story is actually very different because unlike Danny, I was like 4 years old and I'm like, Mom, how does Santa come into our house? There's no chimney. I never hear the door open. Like I was a very skeptical child.
You're very smart.
So when I was, I think 5, I was in the first grade. And I remember being at school and like the teacher saying all this. And I came home and I was like, Mom, this doesn't make sense. Like if you are going 70 miles per hour, then like that doesn't make sense because that means you're doing like a mile a minute and all this stuff. And I was like trying to make sense. I'm like, I'm not good at math. I'm not good at this, but there's no way just Santa goes around the world. Like, even if everyone has different hours and like in China, and my mom was kind of like, she's making pies and such for Thanksgiving. And she's like saying, Gabby, like it's magic. It's just magic. So my brother pulls me over and he's older than me. And I think at this point he's like 9 or 10. And he's like, listen, you need to stop asking questions.
No.
He's like, if you say that Santa's not real, then we're not going to get presents. He's like, you just need to pretend. Because he's like, if you notice, the same wrapping paper Mom buys is under the tree. So you need to make sure that you hush up or else we're not going to get gifts. So he was basically like, you need to pretend to believe in Santa because that's how we're getting gifts. Because the minute you don't believe, he's like, my friend told me that. He stopped believing and now he doesn't get as many presents.
True.
So my brother and I think kind of knew, and it went on for years. And also because my cousins really believed. So at that point, my parents were like, remember, don't say anything in front of the cousins. Like when they knew that we didn't really believe at that point. And it was just interesting because my brother, as much as like he tried to warn me and such, it's true. We got older. We're getting less gifts. The magic's not there.
I was also told that Mommy and Papi were like elf helpers and that they would go to the store and that they would like deliver either like the letter that I wrote of like what I wanted, or that because there were so many kids asking for the same popular toys that they would go in and reserve certain. And I believe that. I was like, oh, that's so smart. Like Santa contacts you.
Shout
and does
out
that.
to Danny's parents for really outdoing her all these years. This is a perfect segue talking about elves. The whole thing now. So I have a little niece and a little nephew, and they're so pissed, by the way, because I mentioned the wrong age last time I said it. I can't remember now what it was either. But shout out to them. I love them. They have this whole thing, Elf on the Shelf. And you've probably seen a lot of parody about it with people like rhyming things. And it's this whole thing where these little helpers come and like my sister-in-law talks about it, and she's like, it's hard work. Like they have to wake up. Now they're not as into it as they were before, but they would have to wake up right before like the kids would get up and like change the elf, or like when they went to bed, like go and find a new position or a little new note that the elf left them. it's a whole new level. It's pretty crazy. Have you guys heard about it?
Yo no creo en esa
No.
vaina.
No.
Like,
No, we didn't grow up with it. What do you guys think about? It's like a whole new scheme to
no,
get men.
I don't like it. I think it's a lot of work. It's dumb. Like, it gets old real quick. Like, that Christmas is already hard. The shopping, the making the plans, the dinner, and now you got to worry about writing notes on behalf of an elf and making sure that you're hiding it in a different spot, in a different position every day, and nobody sees you. It's already hard enough for parents to be Santa. This is whack, bro. Like, stop putting the pressure on the parents.
So if I were a kid, this one sounds both really fun, like a scavenger hunt, but then also really creepy. I don't know. Like the whole concept of a small little elf with like pointy ears and just like messing with your stuff and leaving.
Annie, I think your
notes.
parents would have done a great job of convincing you that elf was real. I just want to say
no
that.
doubt. No doubt.
So my favorite tradition, let's stray away from Elf on the Shelf, was going to pick the pig with my dad or my uncle or grandfather and like preparing the lechon for the day.
No.
For Noche Buena, you start in the morning.
Oh, God.
You put in la
Danny doesn't wanna
cajachina.
hear it.
I know, like, listen.
I got stories too. So,
that was, for me, that is a tradition. We have not touched upon it. There's like very few times a year where we have lechon like this, and Noche Buena is it.
I'm sorry, Danny, I know, cover your ears. So yeah, that's another tradition. Gabby, I didn't think about that, but so it depended if it was like the parties at my house or like if we're buying the pig, we're obviously preparing ourselves. And you could do it two ways, like the old school way, which is like the really traditional way. You would go to the slaughterhouse and really pick out the pig you wanted. And you'd be like, let me get that one. Oh, and then like obviously it's by weight. Or sometimes you got it frozen and you had to like bring it up and let it thaw. And then like the day before, like, you know, alabando puerco, like how would you say that? Marinating the pig. And you're marinating the pig the night before is another party.
So the vegetarian speaks.
The tofurkey.
Yeah, no, we don't have tofurkey during Christmas time. My mom traditionally, and I think this is just like her way of doing things. I don't think it's necessarily like a Mexican tradition per se. I might be wrong, but I don't think it is. My mom just makes enchiladas. So that's like our go-to dish, and like it's delicious. She makes it like a very particular way because there's no meat obviously in it, but it's like half spicy, half not, because my dad can't really tolerate spicy food, but we love it. So it's like something we look forward to with like apple cider on the side.
The apple cider, like, that is very popular, and that is something, when I was in Missouri, I tried that and I was like, oh, I can get behind this. This should be part of our traditions. I don't know why Latinos don't have it more. So after Noche Buena and the lechon and such, and like, I really do think that most people get together either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day to have dinner, and presents aren't the main part of it, but I know for a fact that most people look forward to New Year's Eve at that point, or the New Year. So Christmas, I think, is heralded as one of like the final holidays of the year. What about Los Reyes Magos? Because that's technically in the new year. Like, we celebrate New Year's and then we celebrate the three wise men.
Which is what I was saying earlier, that it's a very, like, most of Latin America celebrates this. And my dad was actually, we were talking to my dad the other day, and growing up, and he was born in 56. So my dad, growing up, there wasn't like a Santa. It was like celebrating Los Reyes Magos. And he said like he would put like in his shoes kind of like hay, kind of like whatever like was in the manger, I guess. And he would put it, and like there'd be gifts in the shoes. And I think that's how
candy.
I think that's how most of, at least in Cuba, that's how it was. And I feel like other Latin Americans also. I know in Mexico they do it, and they have like this bread where they had like a little baby Jesus in the bread. And
oh my gosh, I've done that.
La Rosca de Reyes. That's what it's
Rosca,
called.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then whoever has the baby is the one throwing the next party.
Yep.
Oh, is that what it is?
Because
Oh.
we also have
bread.
las posadas, which happens during the Christmas time, also leading up to Los Reyes Magos, I believe. So.
What is that?
Las posadas, it's like basically there's multiple, essentially this is like the summary version of it, but there's multiple households throwing parties, and they're like, if you're the one showing up to those parties, you basically sing.
Like caroling. Like you're
Exactly.
going
I was gonna
caroling.
say,
you,
like,
you essentially go caroling, but then you also like get to learn about like their
wow.
traditions and their food, and then you go to the next house and you do the same thing. You meet new
Oh my
people,
God.
friends
so
of
it's like
friends.
caroling, but you go inside.
A Hispanic
Pretty much,
caroling.
yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
That's
Well, my grandmother's from Panama, and she's the one who like tried to enforce the shoes thing, like leaving your shoes out. But my family didn't really
Aw.
catch on to it. But it was cute because she thought of like stockings. She's like, "Oh, the stockings are like de los
Yeah.
Reyes Magos. Like they're the ones who fill the stockings." And I just thought that was so cute how like she intertwined what she celebrated
Mm.
or some of her traditions and like tried to make sense of it.
I love
With
that. I feel
American
like we'll do that
traditions.
with our kids as well. Like there's just so many different infusions of different traditions.
Yeah, which I think is gonna essentially be like the future of holidays. Like it's gonna be a fusion of a lot of different things. Like Danny, how you were saying that in certain aspects, like culturally, you are Jewish, you may not celebrate Hanukkah per se. And the same thing, like I could imagine some people picking up Kwanzaa as families become more blended. And I think at the root of it, it just all means the same thing, right? That it's a time to be together with family, to celebrate what your values are together and the importance of unity. And whether it's biblical or cultural, it's showing that together you can still celebrate a holiday with either food, parties, or other commonalities. Like I feel like whether stockings or shoes, everyone still like wants the magic and the cheerfulness of the holidays, no matter what you celebrate. And I think that's the beauty of all of it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
One last thing that I wanted to mention is that I hope that those who are listening to this episode at the moment, that even if you are alone this holiday season, or if you're working, or because of COVID-19, you're unable to celebrate the regular way you would otherwise with your large families, to still find that magic that you always feel during the holiday season. I think it's important. Like the fact that I put up my tree and my lights and stuff, like you should still do that for yourself if you're into it. Like don't let stuff like the COVID-19 pandemic hinder your happiness, so to speak.
That was so nice, Danny.
Thanks.
So as we look forward to the holidays and hopefully a happy 2021, just remember to go up to any stranger or to call up your friends and loved one and say, "Oye, happy holidays. Hope to see